What is going on? We are back again with the week number 5 for the OoTR Standard Tournament Season 8 weekly wrap-up. Welcome in. We're going to be covering 4 qualifiers today. We're going to go over a few things that are kind of important, some announcements that came out that I think we should definitely cover, as it will pertain to some of the things that we will cover towards the end of the video here. That being said, let's go and wrap up or start working at qualifier number 14. As you can see, we've got Mr. Mario here on Restream today. We have a Mido's House child start. Surprise, surprise. Mido's House start. Early bomb choose. Nice little 10-pack that was in the maze that really just made things super easy. You have the Requiem of Spirit in a Kokiri Emerald start. You're going to see that a couple of times today. Ocarina of Time is Sun Song. I mean, it's the first thing that you see. You get that Spirit Temple to Rova right there, as you can see. Don't worry, that's nothing. You get Minuet fairly early. I don't remember exactly where it is, but as you can see, Mr. Mario sat there. That's the logic, okay? The bomb chews are not logical to do Child Spirit to get the hammer. That boomerang is logical, which is in Lost Woods, and there's the Kokiri Sword. You could argue the Kokiri Sword is that Lost Woods to Goma path, but hear me out. The Lost Woods to Goma path is actually the boomerang, okay, to get the hammer, to get the Kokiri Sword. It could also technically just be the Kokiri Sword, but I'd like to think that it's the boomerang to get the Kokiri Sword. There might be some path prioritization I'm not taking into account here. So let's go and check out what our dungeons are. So our dungeons today is Forest, which is Light Trial. You do get a Forest is Foolish, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Forest is Foolish. I didn't write it down. That's not like me, but whatever. So, whatever, dude. Whatever. Forest is Light. I played this one, so I don't know why I don't remember. As you can see, Forest is the light medallion. It is one of our meds, but it's not specifically a Ganon's boss key medallion. Our Fire, Temple, Jabul, and Water are the Ganon's boss key medallions. In Spirit and Deku are our light arrow cutscenes, or what I'm going to refer them to as our bridge medallions. Okay, there's a Spirit Temple to Morpha. A lot of people didn't get that. Okay, now what's in Spirit Temple? You have Spirit Temple hinted twice. Once towards Rova, okay, and you got a hammer, and the other one's towards Morpha. So what is that hammer leaning towards? Which one is it? Is it to Rova or is it to Morpha? Well, actually, that hammer is to Rova. And hear me out. You're just gonna have to stick with me here for a second. Today, we're gonna get in detail to what all of the logic means. I'm gonna do my absolute best. As far as it comes to path prioritization, we're not gonna touch up on that too much. We do get 40 as a bow, and there's a wallet on 30, but you're not gonna end up seeing those, I promise. One of those the bow ends up turning up at some point in a really nice location. You get a nice early hook shot. Looks pretty cool, but the Spirit to Morpha is actually just irons. Yeah, and there's a Sphere Zero mirror, so you know that, you know, it's not leading towards mirror in any way. There's a bow right there. So yeah, anyway, so the Spirit to Morpha is the irons. The Spirit to Twin Rova is actually the hammer. Why? I didn't write down why, to be honest with you, but there's light arrows. There's a bottom of the world path to Evil's Bane, and that's what it's the only thing that's in there, you know? So yeah, that's do what you will as that. I'm pretty sure the hammer ends up unlocking explosives is what it comes down to. I didn't write down too much about this one. I actually played this scene. I don't remember a damn thing. So I do remember that the Silver Gauntlets was there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's something in here that I'm definitely missing. It could just be to get the scale, to get the bow, to end up getting Ruto's letter to go in there to get strength 2. Yeah, that might be it. I don't know. Honestly, couldn't tell you. There is hovers in Hyrule Field. I do believe Hyrule Field was hinted, but I didn't have that one written down either. That magic right there was go mode for a lot of people. So it was an unhinted magic, and it was, we're going to talk about that long shot here in a second. Unhinted magic, and there's 2 magics obviously within the game, and the other one's on CAC archery. That's the one I ended up getting, but it was not like, you know, the best one. Some people just ended up working their way towards Gerudo Valley and getting the waterfall chest, or getting the waterfall freestanding anyway. So yeah, that magic a lot of people had early, and the long shot, which was on Light Arrow cutscene, was go mode for a lot of people. Completely unhinted as far as I know, so you just had to end up going to Temple of Time as an adult after completing Spirit and Deku and getting the long shot, and put a lot of people into go mode, have very quick finishes because of it. Not too bad. Yeah, so I'm actually not completely ready. I am actually completely ready, so don't let me try and dissuade you. So qualifier number 14, what did our standings look like? Yeah, Ecola got first with a 202. Damn, Ecola really popped off on this one with a 5-minute finish over Marco. Marco getting up in second. These are names that we've seen and loved before. Rock Chalk hitting it with a 3rd place finish. Wonderful. Glad to see it. Rock Chalk's one of those North American players that really pop off, and it seems like they're just now getting warmed up this season. Flea, absolutely killing it. Love to see it. Juke, another top 5 finish for Juke. Cinny sitting there up in the top 6. Cinny, that's Scrubs organizers represent. That's what I'm talking about. Cola always hitting those top 10 marks. You know when Cola's racing, and honestly, Cola's been running like, I think he's missed like 1 or 2 qualifiers the entire season. So absolute insane. Did the first 8 qualifiers and is still like in that top 10 spot, if I remember correctly. J-Bone, previous race mod, been going crazy, and it's nice to see actually putting up some good numbers there. Weighty Words, we saw him in the top 10 last season, or last week, in week number 4. So very nice to see. And then following up in number 10, and we'll go and hit number 11 as well, because that's the person that we were watching here on Restream. WTHH, what does that mean? What the hell's happened? Hell yeah. What the hell's a previous tournament winner? Wonderful to see. Finishing up in the top 10, and you could probably notice something. We're going to touch up on that later, why there's decimal points in the final for the points calculation. And then Mr. Mario, who we were watching here today, with an 11th place. And honestly, I think Mr. Mario's like first 30 minutes, I was watching it and I was like, man, I played this completely wrong. He absolutely killed it. Thank you so much for letting us use your gameplay. That means we're going to go and work our way over to qualifier number 15. In qualifier number 15, we have ATZ. Yes, the one, the only, is finally back after about 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. Welcome back, ATZ. A previous tournament winner as well. Absolutely killed it early on in the first couple of seasons of OOTR, and is back for season 8, and I love to see it. Honestly, when I saw ATZ and people like Bonnaroo coming back and playing that haven't played in a very long time, like, it really gave me chills, and it made me over exaggeratingly hype about this season. So I've been really, really happy to see that, and I'm sure everybody else is as well. That being said, let's go and drop in here. So this one was restreamed over on the Silver Gauntlets. The Silver Gauntlets is our brother channel that is going to be running the Challenge Cup this season. If you're not familiar what Challenge Cup is, the main tournament is hosted by Zelda Speedruns, or ZSR, which you're watching here today. And the Challenge Cup is going to be, well, the main tournament is seeds 1 through 32, and Challenge Cup is going to be seeds 33 through 96. Yes, 33 through 96, 96 or 94? 96, yeah, sorry, I can't math right now. It's going to be seeds 33 through 96, which is the next 64. And honestly, I think Challenge Cup this year, I've been talking to a lot of people about this and trying to gauge what the community feels, and I definitely agree with what the community says. Challenge Cup is going to be very exciting this year around. Very exciting. There's going to be a lot of players that are not going to make top 32 where you're going to sit there and scratch your head, what happened? And at the end of the day, they're just going to go in and you're going to have some killers inside the Challenge Cup. And honestly, it just makes it so much more exciting, that much more competitive. It definitely raises the skill, the competitive level between everybody. It makes it very, very enjoyable as a viewer for us to see. So, qualifier number 15, let's go and drop in. We had a fire med start with a minuet start. You love to see it. You only need to do technically 5 dungeons, and you have a minuet start, which is great movement, good routing abilities there. Don't worry about the items popping up on screen. We'll get into that there in a second. Boy, sorry about that. It's super early in the morning. It's 7:30 and I haven't been to sleep yet. Jesus, what am I doing? Anyway, our meds today, we had Deku as our light medallion, so we're not going to worry about that too much. You can have some stuff as long as it's not hinted towards our bridge in there. But yeah, so our Deku is our light medallion. Fire and DC are great. I want to say Great Bay Temple is our Ganon Boss Keys dungeons. Okay, we started with the Fire Med. It would normally be a GBK dungeon, but we don't have to worry about that today. So, Water and Spirit are our bridge medallions. And obviously you need the light arrows to be able to open a bridge anyway, but that's going to be covered with our Evil's Banes if there is one. So, Lon Lon, Fire Temple, and Death Mountain Trail are all foolish. And its Song of Time is in Temple of Time. Those are, you know, Temple of Time hints that we get there in the beginning. This is a pretty loaded Goron city, by the way. Magic with bombs. Yeah, love to see it. So, we do get a couple of hints early. It's a Lake Hylia to Morpha, and it's a hookshot. You saw it was on adult fishing, where you're like, whoa, how do I get that without having a hookshot? Well, you gotta go plant a bean, you get a scale. I don't remember where the scale is, but it's pretty cool. I didn't write down too much about the seed, I'm gonna be honest with you. But there's the long shot. It's just outside ice in Zora's Fountain. You do get a Dodongo's Cavern as Path to Evil's Bane, and there's Rudo's Letter. What does Rudo's Letter unlock for you? Well, you do get Long Shot and Epona Song, which is locked behind Rudo's Letter. If you don't go into Jabul, then you make the right choice there. If you do, because you see the boomerang there, it's hammer locked. That boomerang, that location is, and where's Hammer? Right there. So you don't need the boomerang whatsoever. It's actually very foolish of you to go do that. Just go do Ice Cavern and you'll be all right. So yeah. Sorry about that. So Rudo's get you Long Shot or Epona Song, which gets you Light on Horseback Archery. That's the Path to Evil's Bane there. A couple of notes for the seed is Ocarina of Time is Bolero. There's 2 seeds today where Ocarina of Time is Bolero, and I don't know what to tell. I don't know why there's so many OOTs Bolero, but we do have another vanilla Nocturne, which means Burning Kakariko is Nocturne of Shadow. This is the 4th seed so far in the qualifiers that has had a vanilla Nocturne. I rarely see that, you know? It usually means that Shadow's got to be one of your other 6 dungeons other than those 3 that are covered. And it's like, I don't know. I just thought it was cool to put down there. You do get a early wallet, so that tunic that's in Lake Hylia on Child Fishing is not the path. That's how you know that you need to go further. It's not just in Fire Temple to go get your hook shot. You do get the boomerang inside of GTG, and that just tells you, because that specifically, that check is hammerlocked, you should not go do Jabul. Jabul is a bad thing. Do not do it. You will not have a good time. Speaking of good times, let's go and check our times for qualifier number 15. I know I'm going to try and keep it wrapped up. This one I didn't have too much written down for our path prioritization or our logic. Honestly, I just didn't really see that much that was too interesting to me. And if that's just going to be the case, I'm not going to cover it. So, with our top finishers today, we are looking at Tanjo with the first place in their qualifier run this season. First place with the 207 with the 1040.77 points. Again, we'll get into the decimals later. Aeronaut, love to see it. You see them in the top 10, not every single qualifier, but towards the top 10 in every single qualifier. And they've been every qualifier that they do, that is. Redrim, I believe is French. I genuinely have not seen them play all that much, but seeing them in the top 10, I mean, they killed it with the 10-10 for qual points there with the 211.45. ATZ, who we were covering today, hit that fourth place finish. Love to see it. We got Keatums with another top 10 finish here, finishing up in 5th place. What the hell's happened? That's 2 in a row. Let's go. Marco, same thing, 2 in a row with the top 10s. Schultzer popping in with the 8th place finish. 218, been doing a pretty good run lately for them. Juke, again with the top 10. Oh my goodness, we're gonna cover Juke later. He's in Juke's in one of our runners that we covered here today. I believe it's the last one that we're gonna check, qualifier 17. And then Exodus, who's, I'm pretty sure Exodus is all done with their races, but I mean, you still gotta compete. You gotta, I mean, if you look at it this way, you're completely done with all 8 of your races. Now, all you need to do, if you are one of those top runners that can consistently make the top 10, you have a chance to set the goal time for the other runners and make the goal time lower to potentially lower other players' points and create more competition between the other players. That being said, with the top 10 there finished, Exodus finishing in 10th. Let's go on and check our next runners. Our next runners here today, we're going to be looking at qualifier number 16, and that's going to be Double Decker. We're going to call them Decker for now. Decker with the Hatsune Miku. Let's go and restart this actually. Okay. Alright, Decker. With qualifier number 16, we had a Song of Time start with the Goron Ruby. So honestly, what I would consider one of the worst starts that you could possibly get. You do get a Fire Temple, Desert Colossus, and Death Mountain Trail Foolish. You do get also the hint that Serenade is vanilla. That's kind of trash. I mean, you really don't want to go to Ice Cavern if Serenade is hinted vanilla. But there's an early magic there. Sphere Zero. So, Fire, Colossus, Trail, Colossus, if Serenade is hinted in Ice and Desert Colossus is hinted Foolish, then you know 100% that your Prelude has to be in Desert Colossus. There are only 2 songs in OoTR that can be hinted Foolish with the way that we do our hint system. Okay? And it's Prelude and Serenade. Since we already know where Serenade is, and it's not in Colossus, we know Prelude has to be in Colossus. This Gerudo Valley ends up having a strength there, and it's actually hinted. It's Gerudo Valley to King Dodongo. And it's for the strength, and there's a reason why it's not just, oh, strength unlocks bomb bag. Yes, technically. That hookshot is a little bit more important than usual. And let me tell you why. So, 40 skulls is a pack of 10 bomb chews. Cool. 30 skulls is a Zora scale. Okay, that's not too bad now, is it? Well, 50 skulls is the hover boots. Do we need to do Shadow? Absolutely. Shadow is our light medallion. We got Jabul, Deku, and Fire, our Ganonboski dungeons, and DC in Water as our bridge dungeons. So that puts our stones at Forest and Spirit, and that's going to come into play a little bit later down the line. So with Child Fishing being your spawn, and you're able to move around in Lake Hylia, there's nothing crazy there. You do get a Temple of Time to Balbagia, which later on we find out is the Requiem of Spirit for logical keys, because Child has a key. Actually, it's hard required for the keys that's on Child's side. And there's just a hammer over there in Spirit. Ocarina of Time is Bolero yet again. So that's 2 right here alone. There's a slingshot. Nothing too crazy. I was just showing that. So what's up with the scale? Why did I mention that the scale is a little ambiguous, but it actually does come into play? Notice that other scale is scale locked. You do get a Kokiri's Forest to Evil's Bane. Kokiri's Forest to Evil's Bane, there was only one thing in Kokiri's Forest, and that was Hookshot. Take these notes, just put them down there for a second, and then we'll come back to that. That scale is logically required for a bomb bag in River, which you saw Double Decker grab. Bomb bag in River with the boomerang and hook. That boomerang and hook is required to get that scale on 30. But it's also it's logically required for you to get the Kokiri sword on 20 skulls to logically get you enough skulls to hit 30, to get the scale, to get the bomb bag, to go get bow, to get pretty much everything else in the seed. You do get a market path to Morpha, which you saw was irons on Bombchu Bowling. Ruto's letter just chilling there. Now this long shot was a little ambiguous as well. You already cleared GTG without having Strength 2. You didn't do Gerudo Valley, or you did Gerudo Valley after GTG, and then you get the Strength 2 on Gerudo Valley. You can count keys and logically think, okay, there's only one item inside the silver block area, and the other 3 items have to be keys, right? Well, unfortunately, that did burn quite a few players, as, yeah, the long shot was in there, and it is hard required for the long shot. As you can see, the hammer's just chilling there in Spirit. What's this right here before Serenade? The light arrows. How is that hook locked? Thank you for asking. That's hook locked. I wrote this one down. So it was Kokiri Forest to Evil's Bane, which means you need the hook to logically get skulls for bomb bag. You need the hook to get the scale on 30, which we've already talked about, to get bomb bag, which was in River, to get the letter, which was in Hyrule Field, to get lights and ice. You're welcome. No, don't worry about it. I got you. Okay, Qualifier 16, it was a little bit of a doozy. Honestly, it's a logical mess. And honestly, going through this, I realized what was happening. I was like, oh God, oh no. What is happening? Oh man, all right. So, standings. We got a new top place finisher, Just Sam, finishing in first place with a 251.18. Yes, first finisher 251.18. I think it's a hard required 50 skulls with a logical 30 skulls, which you don't even have enough until you get 20 skulls, logically. And Just Sam just killed it. Absolutely. The 251.18 getting a 10:36.63. And I believe that's Just Sam's best time. Congratulations, you well deserved. J-Bone, we talked about them earlier, hitting another top 10 with the 254.50, 1016 qual points. You got What the Hell's Happened 3 in a row. Absolutely killing it. The champ is back. Double Decker, we were showcasing here today. The 257.56 Hyper with only 0.28 points under Double Decker. It's amazing to actually be able to see the exact pointage there, which is kind of crazy and a little weird. But Alexander HD or Alexander Harold, one of the Harold brothers, it hit the 6th place, honestly. I mean, look at that. Hit the 6th place. As you can see, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place were all within less than 20 seconds of each other. That's insane. They all got 999s and 1,000. So, yeah, that's kind of amazing. Cola, we talked about them. You know when they're playing. Oh gosh, I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. I'm trying. And Mafrucci finishing with a 303 and a 304 with 7th and 8th place. Or I'm sorry, 8th and 9th place. And excuse me, one of my fellow Chicken Nuggets brothers, one of my multi-world partners, Kyrie Strombaum with a 10th place finish, 306.01 with a 953. That's insane. Congratulations, guys. That's honestly really insane. Yeah, that's all right. So let's see here. Let's go and drop on to our next qualifier. That is qualifier number 17. Let's go and get rid of this. Here we are. That is not the right one. We are still showing. There we go. Okay. So, who are we covering today? Well, I already spoiled it earlier. That's Juke. Welcome in, Juke. We've got qualifier number 17 for you to show for us. Qualifier number 17, I ended up playing this one and I forfeited. I hated this seed. Oh my goodness, I hated playing it. Not every single second of it, but once I realized what the seed wanted you to do, I wanted nothing to do with it. Now, does that mean I'm going to get too into detail about this one? No, not really. I didn't write down too much. I thought I'd be able to remember a lot off memory because this happened like 2 days ago for me. But in reality, there wasn't a lot. I do remember a couple of the hints, and I obviously had to go through all the footage anyway, and I saw most of the hints anyway. But qualifier 17, you have a minuet with a Kokiri Emerald start. Honestly, whenever I see that we got to do at least 6 dungeons, I get a little excited, especially as a qualifier player. Desert Colossus is Path to Morpha. You get that very early. There is Nocturne of Shadow and Fire Arrows. Spoiler, it is not the Fire Arrows. It is Nocturne of Shadow. I don't remember what's in Shadow. Actually, I think it was Hammer. Yeah, so there was Hammer in Shadow at the very end of Shadow. And Longshot is just chilling inside of Fire Temple Hammerlocked. You do get a Gerudo Valley, Market, and DC Foolish, and Temple of Time has Storms. Temple of Time, that is the prelude song. There are no skulls whatsoever, and you do get a nice song chain, nice strength there early too. But with a DC Foolish, you are not going into DC unless you have the ability to beat DC, and preferably some bomb shoes to go along with it. You're gonna watch a nice song chain while we go over the medallions. We have Water Medallion or Water Temple is our light medallion, so nothing too ambiguous there. Fire, Shadow, and Spirit is our Ganon's Boss Key medallions, and then DC and Deku is our bridge. 2 very easy bridge, which usually means that bridge is probably going to be opened up pretty early on. And I think in this case, yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was opened up pretty early on. You do get great mobility in this seed. You have Requiem. Yeah, I believe you have Serenade. You have Bolero. You have Minuet. You have Nocturne. Actually, I'm other than Prelude, I'm not sure what you don't have. Yeah, so it's pretty early on. You do get this nice Furor's win, but you don't get to use it for a while. And then we do get a Goron City Path to Goma. And you do need to get that strength too. There's the Goron City Path to Goma in Goron City. You need that strength too. There's a Hyrule Field to Twin Rova. We'll get into that. That strength 2 is required to get that scale. And that scale is very important. That scale gets you this right here, which is your Kokiri sword. So the scale directly unlocks the Kokiri sword. And then you get a Hyrule Field Path to Rova, which, gosh, this is what really killed the seed for me. Not specifically in any other reason other than the fact that logically, you needed to go get the bow, which was in River, which was scale locked. You needed to go get the bow, to go get Ruto's letter, to then go to Hinted Jabul to get bombs on the boomerang chest, then go back to Hyrule Field to get the boomerang, and the boomerang lets you go back to double Hinted Jabul. We're gonna see the whole chain right here. Boomerang to go back to double Hinted Jabul, so you could go get what's in here. Well, it's hinted towards Valvagia. It's gonna be the hammer, right? No, I already spoiled the hammer. It's the freaking puppers, dude. It's the boomerang for Hubbers, for the mirror, which is locked. The mirror is locked behind fire because Song of Storms is locked behind Fire Temple completion, and Kokiri Forest Storm's Grotto has your mirror. Sometimes this game really makes it hard for me to love it, but I digress. Pretty much you get a Jabul to King Dodongo, which you know is only for your bomb. So if you get your bomb shoes, you want to put off Jabul until you get the boomerang. You don't want to have to double dip, unless you've got Farora's Win in Magic already. That right there is a Mirror Shield. You do know that Mirror is locked by Song of Storms in some capacity down the line, or it's just hammer locked in some capacity down the line. So bottom of the well is just just bait of the well. It's just, don't do it. Song of Storms Frogs is screaming your name because you already know there's already an item in Majora's River, which is the bow. So you're probably thinking, you know, recency bias, maybe there's just something there. It's not. It's Kokiri Forest Storm's Grotto, and it's just so ambiguous, and that's what really killed it for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually near last location hookshot. I was turning in 20 skulls when the first place finisher finished, and I didn't even have a hookshot at that point, and I was really upset because I literally last location the hookshot in Death Mountain Trail Ferry. So yeah, quite a few forfeits on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not alone. All right, so it didn't really hit me too hard. But I mean, I just don't like forfeiting in the first place. So let's see what the standings look like. Please, 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 Sponge with the 208. Yes, I went 2 hours and 8 minutes without a hookshot. Fight me. Exodus finishing in second place with the 1044. Rotinder Doze, which we highlighted. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, but they were absolute unit for letting us use their gameplay when there was no restream and hitting us up very quickly. So I really appreciate that. Ecola, again, who got first place on our qualifier 14 this week. Juke, who we showcased, got 5th place. Wonderful placement for them, a 988. And then it was 6 minutes until the next finisher, Floosh, who has been killing it this year, this season. But finishing up with the 6th place, still not bad. Cola with the 3rd top 10 finish in a row. Philip T2, or Happy Hiker Philip T2, finishing up in 8th place with the 226, only 9 seconds behind Cola. Fur, or Fernando, finishing with the 226.54, who was on Restream with Drew and Juke, and there was another one, I just can't quite remember. Drew finishing up in 10th place with the 229.40. All right, so meat and potatoes, what's going on? Why we see decimals? Okay, so this is what our top 32 look like currently. Why are there decimals? There are decimals because technically there was some issues with the point calculations, okay? Because the website was rounding down with the point calculations, it would take something like Alexis's top result here, 1071.80, and just automatically round it down. Even if it's only 20 away from being a 1072, we're not a nice professor here. We're rounded down completely. And that's what the website was doing. Whereas Mito's House, which is what we're using to help run the tournament this season, did the full point calculation and went down to like 10 decimals and was there to be as accurate as possible. And we noticed that there was a difference in the point structures, and we really just wanted to be as honest as possible. And just this shifted players slightly, no more than one placement up or down, and no more than by a few points, single digit points, I should add. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm not sure if we're going to keep with 2 decimal points forward, or if we're going to end up rounding up on the front end, but using the full decimal points on the back end. Whatever they end up choosing, I know they're going to make the right choice. But with that, that's why we have our decimal points, and that's why we're going to have the most accurate leaderboard before next week, which will be our final week. We're going to have the most accurate leaderboard that we have had all season. Alexis, first place, right now, completely done with a 40-53. Top results, 3 of them in the 10th, in the 1000s, a very nice 1000 scores. Lowest result being a 991, that's just insane. There's not a single person on this list where they have a higher 5th result. Yeah, that's genuinely impressive. Exodus, second place with a 40-23, only 30 behind, but completely locked in. I do believe that top 8 right here are completely locked in for top 32. There's no possible way that they could drop down below 32 placements. So this top 8 is guaranteed top 32 with with my current knowledge, which means Just Sam, who just got their best score with the 1036, also is locked in with 2 more to go, has been killing it. Floosh in 3rd place with 1 more to go, can go up in placement points significantly. Yeah, you could drop, if you get higher than a 1091, or honestly, anything higher than a 1045, drops that 958 off the board, and could easily go up to 2nd place with a nice placing score. Ecola, we saw them. Wow, we have 4 players in the 4000s. I don't think this has happened before. Last year we had 3. This year we have 4. This is kind of insane. Angle, who got our perfect score last week or the week before. I think it was the week before. 2 weeks ago. With an 1100 in our 5th place spot. We got Marco, Cola, Just Sam. These are our top 8 right here. What the hell's happened? Mr. Mario, 3903 and a 3878. Tanjo, Keatums, Drew with our upper 3800s. Seize, Zavi, Juke, Hyper with a 17th place, 3805. Now these are, I'm not going to say that these are guaranteed at this point, but these are also looking very solid to maintain. Then we got Flea, Volk, Aosuna, Double Decker, Schultzer. All these guys are completely done. Hyper still has 3 to go. Juke has 2 more to go. These 2 are scary right here. Oh boy. Keatums has 2 more to go. Just Sam has 2 more to go. Nice has 2 more to go. Those are scary. Those are people that plan, absolutely can, and most likely will move on up. Cinny with 2 more to go. We got Broke, Aeronaut, Rockchuck, Fur, Cinny, Kirox, Sanzu, Machine, and J-Bone. J-Bone still has 2 more to go, and this is our cutoff currently for the top 32. Next week, we are going to have our final scores. The points will be calculated. The scores will be implemented. The messages will go out. And we'll have a solid idea of exactly who will be top 32. If we have any dropouts, I will also put down in the mentions who drops out in what that does to our placements. Hopefully we don't see any dropouts, but it does happen every single year. And we will go over slightly for the Challenge Cup and just go over who the Challenge Cup is next week. Oh boy, we got 3 qualifiers left. 3 qualifiers. That's it. Oh my goodness, 3 qualifiers. All right, so just to finish up here, qualifier 18 is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Okay. Qualifier 19 is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. And qualifier 20, the final, will be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. This has been a blast. It has also been really tedious, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate all of you. That being said, I'm going to dip on out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will catch y'all later. See ya.